Are you ready for Season 3?
Is there more?
You're doggone right there is, with the release of Part 2, in which I get to relive my high school PSD of being friend-zoned. My dear fellow viewers, there is a ton to cover in this video, including new information about the already renewed Season 4. So make sure to like and subscribe and let me know what you thought about Part 2 in the comments below. Part 1 ended with Penelope Featherington accepting the proposal of the town's hunkiest bachelor, Colin Bridgerton.
I am horny as hell.
And I do not want to be the guy who has to clean out that carriage. With the wedding on the horizon, Penelope struggles with telling her beau-to-be that she is in fact Lady Whistledown, the author of the town's most scandalous gossip rag. In the past, Whistledown has said some truly terrible things about the Bridgerton family, and Colin makes it very clear what he'd do if he were to ever find out her identity.
If I ever find out, I will make sure it is her life that is ruined.
Oh no, this is not going to end well.
And Eloise Bridgerton is not making things easy for Penelope, giving her until the stroke of midnight to tell her brother the truth, for she cannot bear to keep this secret from him as well.
And until he knows the real you, he cannot possibly love you.
Yes, that's a good point. She is a good point.
And I gotta side with Eloise here. Keeping secrets from your spouse is not a great start to your marriage. At midnight, Penelope musters up the courage to reveal herself when, out of the blue, Lady Cressida Cowper reveals that she is Whistledown.
Fucking
It's all
bitch.
goddamn fake, man.
Lady Cressida is in a dire position. Her father is to wed her off to Lord Greer, a cantankerous old man 3 times her age, whose job is to hate anything remotely fun. So when Cressida sees that the Queen is offering a £5,000 reward for Whistledown's identity, this girl has the balls to turn herself in to collect the reward, believing it will save her from having to marry someone for money. Of course, Penelope can't have some no-good copycat stealing her good name, and publishes a counter issue exposing Cressida as a fake, and in the process creating Part 2's main villain.
Wow, every villain has an origin story.
But upon arriving at the printers, Penelope finds that she was followed by Colin, who is furious that she kept this secret from him.
You are the one that is at fault. I will never forgive you.
Love, however, has a way of working itself out, as this is how Colin responds when Eloise asks if he'll ever forgive her.
I think you should consider yourself uncommonly lucky. You have never been in love.
Love makes us do things we never thought possible, and Colin will forgive her. However, a new dilemma arises. Can Penelope be both Lady Whistledown and Lady Bridgerton?
Your name is about to be Bridgerton. You cannot be both.
Colin also believes she can't be both. She'll have to choose one or the other. And this is actually a big deal for Penelope, as writing was the thing that gave her purpose in life. Giving it up would be like losing a loved one. Growing up as the odd one out at the balls and cast to the periphery, Penelope had no power. But as Lady Whistledown, she wielded almost as much as the Queen, able to sway the ton any way she saw fit. It is a power she admits she used recklessly, and will later ask the Queen and members of the Ton for their forgiveness. It is Cressida who stumbles upon Whistledown's identity by inquiring about her at various printer shops, narrowing it down to a young, affluent redhead. In desperate need of funds to get out of her terrible living condition, Cressida blackmails Penelope, asking for double the reward money in exchange for her silence on Whistledown's identity. Colin could technically pay this reward if he asked his brother for the funds, but Penelope won't have her husband lying to his brother about what this money is for, so Penelope makes the biggest sacrifice of all. She invites the Queen to her sister's Dankworth Finch ball, where she will reveal herself to all the ton and ask for forgiveness. In addition, Penelope uses funds from her writing to make sure her sisters put on the most elaborate ball. It's even filled with live butterflies, whose appearance is a metaphor for change, just like Penelope has changed from a quiet girl used to skulking on the side of the room to the literal woman in the center of it with every eye on her. It's Penelope's passionate speech that sways the Queen to forgive her. And forgive her she does.
What is life without a little gossip?
The hope is that, in time, other members of the Ton will follow in the Queen's footsteps. Colin has changed as well. Only by reading his old letters from Penelope does he realize that he was wrong. You can't separate Whistledown from Penelope because the two are one and the same.
You have always had one voice. There is no separating you from Whistledown.
Penelope's reveal also has the bonus effect of saving the Featherington estate. In part 1, we learn that Portia Featherington was being investigated for fraud after claiming the influx of money she received was from her Aunt Petunia. In reality, it was money stolen by Jack Featherington and his fake diamond scheme. Now that Penelope is revealed as Whistledown, Portia can claim this money was from her. Penelope and Colin's love story does not end there. We fast forward over a year later to see they have a child, and it's a boy, meaning it will inherit the entire Featherington estate. Penelope also continues with her Lady Whistledown column. However, she no longer needs to hide behind her pseudonym, now signing off as Penelope Bridgerton. We'll even hear the narrator's voice change from the usual Julie Andrews Whistledown to that of Penelope's, so I'm curious which voice we'll be hearing in future seasons. We go from one hot and steamy relationship to, well, one more subdued. Franceska Bridgerton and Lord John Sterling of Kilmartin continue their courtship even after the Queen's sparkler refused lemonade from her hand-picked marquess. Their love isn't the type we're used to on Bridgerton. It isn't some torrid love affair for the ages. It's slow and methodical. It's two people who really love each other and decide to make a life for themselves. This is initially why Fran's mother, Violet, is apprehensive about the match. She believes love is surprising, forceful, and quick, as was the case with herself, Daphne and Simon, and Anthony and Kate. Over the course of season 3, Violet learns love does not have to be this way.
But you have shown me that there is another way, that there is beauty in the slow approach.
Franceska and John move to his estate in the Scottish Highlands, bringing along with them Eloise and Kilmartin's cousin, Michaela. For those of you unfamiliar with the books, you might have been taken aback by this awkward interaction between Franceska and Michaela. In the books, Michaela is actually Michael, and without giving too much away, let's just say the two get really close. But it seems the show has gender swapped her, adding some extra spice to the mix. This also begs the question, will season 4 follow them to Scotland? I'm gonna say no. Adding new locations and sets eats into the budget, so my guess is that season 4 will include some sort of time jump, with Fran and the others returning to Bridgerton household with all sorts of new secrets and drama. Fran did tell her mother that she would visit, plus we know a time jump has already happened. At the end of part 2, we see Penelope with her baby, so over a year has already passed since Fran and the gang left for the Highlands. Eloise's decision to accompany her sister also sets herself up for love, even if it seems this isn't at the top of her agenda. Eloise and Penelope often laugh that the two would grow up to be spinsters together, but with Pen married to Colin, Eloise is more alone than ever, so she is ready to see the world and go on her own journey, and I wouldn't be surprised if she's one of the focal points of season 4. In fact, there's this lovely scene between Eloise and her older brother Benedict, who is another single Bridgerton we could see more of in season 4. Benedict's been on his own whirlwind of sexual discovery this season after he meets Lady Tilly Arnold. Their relationship is fun and casual, however, when she introduces her friend Paul into the mix, Benedict has to reconcile his sexual desires with the social norms of the time. Homosexuality is forbidden and something to be hid. We saw this between Brimsley and Reynolds in Queen Charlotte. Lady Tilly, however, catches feelings for Benedict and wants to be more than just casual hookups, but Benedict isn't ready to give up this love for his newfound sexual freedom.
I'm not certain that Sirius is what I want.
Info.
I was pretty blown away with how mature their breakup goes. Each tells the other how their relationship with one another helped them grow. Tilly was reminded that it's possible for her to have that feeling of wanting to commit again, while Benedict learned from her how good it was to be free in this new open world. It's this line, however, that makes me think Benedict will be one of the main stars next season.
It feels right now that the next thing I might learn may change me entirely.
This hints that someone will come along to make Benedict settle down. As Tilly warned him, the novelty of these hookups will eventually fade, and then what are you left with? The Bridgerton matriarch Violet is on the path for her own love affair. This is with her best friend Lady Danbury's brother, Marcus Anderson. Lady Danbury has been protective of her friend, not wanting Marcus to go after her, and it isn't until part 2 we see the real reason why she has such a disdain for her brother. At the age of 10, Marcus foiled her plan to run away the night before her wedding, and Lady Danbury thinks this was so that he could gain favor with their overbearing father. She has harbored this resentment for decades, however, Marcus tells her that's not the truth. He was just a kid who saw her sister sister venture off into the dangerous woods and wanted to make sure she was protected. He was too young to fully grasp how this decision to tell of her escape would fundamentally change Lady Danbury's life forever. Marcus and Lady Danbury are able to mend their relationship, with Danbury even giving Violet her permission for the two to date. But some of you may have been caught off guard by this line.
After all, it is not as though I asked your permission.
Lady Danbury is talking about her love affair with Violet's father, which played out in Queen Charlotte. Violet has known about this for some time, yet the two have never spoken of it. And Violet essentially is okay with it, knowing that deep down both Danbury and her father are good people. The scene ends with a shot of this paper hat, the object which allowed Violet to piece together that her father was sleeping with Danbury. If you want to learn more about that, check out my Queen Charlotte video. I'm going to take a wild guess that Anthony and Kate will barely be in Season 4, as it was alluded that the two would travel to India to have their baby. Season 4 could also feature the final two Bridgerton siblings, Gregory and Hyacinth. Gregory alludes that he's going to be an Eton man soon, so I wonder if we'll see him have any high school romances. I also thought it was pretty funny seeing him read Colin's book entitled Traveling with Myself, which goes into his escapades abroad.
Are you old enough to read that?
Hyacinth is most likely too young to be introduced into society unless there is a large enough time jump. Now, I do have some bad news. It looks like it will be 2 years before we get another fix of Bridgerton. But what did you think of Season 3? I want to hear your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and for more bad takes, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ThinkStoryYT. Until next time, remember...
Inserts himself? Inserts himself where?